Hey guys, our third video, and this one's gonna be a bit more lighthearted than the other ones. We're gonna be talking about Beerus today and how strong Beerus is. My name's Harrison.
And I'm David.
So yeah, I guess we'll just get right into this topic. You want to start?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so Lord Beerus, the God of Destruction. So basically, we're just gonna go over how powerful we think Beerus is, like over the course of the show, and also we're gonna like have a special part dedicated to how powerful Beerus is from episode 69, which is the Aurelia episode.
Yeah,
And
we'll go into that. That'd be
yeah,
fun.
exactly. Yeah, it'll be pretty fun. But no, so I mean, I think we should start with the beginning. Obviously, we have the BOG arc, and Beerus is just, I mean, he's completely beyond like any previous character we've ever seen in Dragon Ball Z. Like, you have these casual solar system busters like Super Saiyan 3 Goku
Mm-hmm.
and Super Saiyan 2 Goku. And they're so far, like characters like Super Saiyan 3 Goku are so far beneath Beerus that they literally don't even warrant his attention to attack. Like Goku's isn't worthy for Beerus to attack in Beerus's eyes. And keep in mind, again, this is like a casual solar system buster we're talking about here.
Yeah,
And
casual
Beerus
plus Source the Buster and Super Saiyan 3, absolutely, yeah.
exactly, and Beerus literally like treats him like he's nothing. He's just an ant. And like King Kai is like he could snort you to the other end of the universe.
Yeah,
So I mean,
it's insane. And then we have the fact that he's above Vegeta, which is already gives a bit of a glimpse of how strong this guy is. Because,
oh
people.
man, I mean, because here's the thing: like we have Buhan having his universal feat of just crushing the universe with alternate dimensions, and then Vegito just bodies his ass.
And that's a Super Saiyan, and assumingly he can go Super Saiyan 3.
Yeah,
So it's
while
like,
holding back
yeah.
immensely. And even based on how well Beerus did against Super Saiyan 3 Goku, I mean, Goku noted, like, Vegito wouldn't even stand a chance. And
Yeah.
this was, and this, and Goku had only known of his power based on how he handled Super Saiyan 3. Like, he didn't know the full extent of Beerus's power because he can't even sense.
So just imagine how much stronger this guy possibly is, and just a little glimpse Goku had gotten of it, and how strong Goku had imagined it really was. That to me is just really insane.
Exactly. And I mean, again, this kind of goes, and then obviously there's various statements at this point that go to show, like, you have Elder Kai saying, like, Beerus might make the whole universe disappear, like, he'll destroy everything. He may go destroy everything this time. So again, this is all goes to show just how powerful Beerus is. And then we actually have, the fight between Super Saiyan God Goku and Beerus, where, they're powering up and they're threatening to destroy the universe, and
Yeah,
they're stated to both wield power capable of destroying the universe.
yeah. In despite our critiques of the scale back then and the inconsistencies, it's still worth noting that Beerus was holding back throughout that entire fight. The
Exactly.
degree of that, I think, changed as the show progressed, but the fact that he was holding back against such an imposing, powerful character, and how much power this guy really has, his ability to nullify energy, and it really gives you a glimpse just how incredibly strong Beerus is, even from the beginning. So then we roll into Resurrection F, and this is like, we think this guy's really strong. We see Goku training, and it's like, Goku still can't touch this guy. Beerus is sleeping. Goku and Vegeta are running from him. I mean, he's just and then we get a bit of our glimpse. We see something that's really important, and we see that when Whis is talking to Goku and Vegeta about Ultra Instinct, Whis says Beerus is not quite mastered, but the fact that Beerus has that ability is just remarkable, and the fact that he hasn't quite mastered it implies a quite a high degree of competency with it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and then we also have the statement from around that time, like this is after, in the context of the arc, like Goku had absorbed Super Saiyan God into his base, and despite that, we says like if the level of gods was the giant castle, like Goku and Vegeta are just this small tree, like they're nothing compared to Beerus even at this point.
Exactly, yeah.
And another thing, I just want to go back to the BOG arc for a second. Another thing I've seen people do is try to downplay Goku and Beerus based on the wonky physics of Dragon Ball, like how the universe busting waves are getting stronger as they were like expanding and going outwards. But even if we assume that that is the case, the fact of the matter is that we have the narrator stating that they wield power capable of destroying the universe, and we also have where Beerus easily nullifies the universe busting super dense energy ball just kind of casually. And I mean,
And we have the
um,
manga where it's Bassetti's Universe Buster, so this is really not something in contention. I mean,
yeah, exactly. I mean, we know for a fact Beerus is definitely a universe busting
and then
like
it's
power.
like before all the events now, when you go into the resurrection arc, you think Goku has some parity with Beerus, and then that's totally squandered when we see how scared of Beerus Frieza is. Frieza is just scared as hell of this guy. Scared of hell of this
Exactly.
guy.
I mean, Beerus doesn't. I mean, Beerus treats Super Saiyan Blue like it's nothing. We'll get into that a little bit later, but I mean, you just and then we go through the show and like again, I remember when I was watching the show, I was thinking like around the Universe 6 arc when Goku got Kaioken and Beerus looked all scared. I was like, oh shit, like Goku's getting closer to Beerus, like he's close to Beerus.
Hmm.
But then that kind of gets all shit on during the Black arc, where we have like Goku and Vegeta get their asses kicked.
Yeah.
And Beerus sees that, and like Beerus sees that they got their asses kicked by Black and Zamasu, but then Beerus is just like, I could still destroy them like easily, but I'm just not allowed to do that.
Yeah, he's confident in his ability to destroy them, which is just like, it just shows that Beerus is at this whole level near the Toriyama quote, which states that, he doesn't have any plans for Goku and Vegeta to surpass Beerus anytime soon. The gods are at this whole level, and Beerus is at a level above the gods, which we'll talk about a bit later. So,
Absolutely.
then we go into the Tournament of Power arc, and before that, though, we have this scene in the manga, this incredible scene when Vegeta is fighting against Beerus.
Oh man.
And
I mean, yeah, here's the thing. So, one thing I just want to bring up is towards the end of the Black arc in the manga, where we have regular Super Saiyan Blue is fighting Merge Zamasu, and just they're getting their asses kicked. Like Merge Zamasu, while suppressed, sees Goku and Vegeta while they're in blue as if they're not even moving. Like he's just completely beyond them by all means. And then when Goku, masters Super Saiyan Blue, he absorbs like the leaking ki into his body, like fully. He's completely stalemating Merge Zamasu. And he even manages to Hakai Merge Zamasu, and it was like genuinely working. And it looked as if it was going to fully finish the job until Zamasu attacked Mai. But
you realize how powerful Hakai really is. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In the manga and the anime, it's a bit different, but basically in the manga, Hakai, it's like you channel your energy into your fist or your hand to just unleash this immense explosion of energy. Like Goku had to channel the full power of Super Saiyan Blue into his hand to use that. And we know Beerus can just kind of casually, just like Hakai beings, as he did with Zamasu.
Yeah, just completely casual.
Exactly, like it's just nothing for him, and then we see, and then what Harrison was talking about when Beerus fights Vegeta in the manga, and I mean that was a heck of a fight. Like you have Vegeta in regular Super Saiyan Blue fighting Beerus, and Beerus is holding back. He's quote unquote playing around, according to Whis, and he's still just wrecking Super Saiyan Blue. Like it's just nothing to him. He's just slapping it around, and then Vegeta goes into Mastered Super Saiyan Blue, and Beerus is still playing around, and they're still having a bit of a fight while Beerus is just completely playing around. But then Vegeta manages to land a punch on Beerus, and
then things get ugly. Oh yeah, boy,
that's where things get ugly. We have Beerus. Like I mean, literally, we just see Beerus like crushing Vegeta's hand, and he's like, "Oh, don't get cocky." And then we just see this massive explosion, and then in the aftermath, we just see this giant crater, and Vegeta's on the ground in his base form, and Beerus is like, I was going easy on you, and like you just got cocky because I was going easy on you.
And since we now know the extent of Ultra Instinct, there's no reason to believe Beerus could not replicate the feat in full in the anime. So that just gives you an idea of how powerful this guy really is. So then we get to the God of Destruction's fight in the manga, because most of his best feats are in the manga, but I think they'll all apply to the anime as well. And this fight just shows Beerus' just complete and utter superiority over most of the gods of destruction. He's dodging their attacks. He's like...
Yeah, I agree. I mean, generally speaking, like, the gods of destruction are relative to each other. Like, Beerus isn't, like, 10 times as strong as the other gods of destruction. But, I mean, in manga chapter 28, we see, like, all of the gods of destruction are going directly towards Beerus. And Beerus dodges, like, 4 different attacks from different gods of destruction, from Ivan to Vermod to, I think, Liquir.
Yeah.
Liquor. And then after that, Goku's like, holy shit, like Beerus is dodging all these attacks. Like, he's amazing. And then Whis actually mentions the self-movement. He's like, each of his body parts is reacting independently. That's how he's able to react to this. I mean, granted, he does get caught by Moscow, but still, I mean, he's finessing all of these gods of destruction.
And
or
it
an
seems
extended.
like the only guy on his level is Kitella, which is just really
Yeah,
insane.
exactly. Like Kittel is implied. I'd argue they're probably about on the same level, Kittel and Beerus. But I
Hmm.
mean, Beerus is just able. He's dodging all these gods' destruction. We see him knock Ramad unconscious, and then we see Kitella knock Ivan unconscious. I mean, it's very clear. Like Beerus, even amongst gods of destruction, Beerus is a monster to be feared here.
And a lot of people may think, oh, Beerus is afraid of Ultra Instinct, but we have this great scene in this new episode where
Yeah, exactly.
where Goku goes Ultra Instinct and Beerus, punches his hand and he's looking up, he's peering over and he's like, let's see Ultra Instinct, let's see what you got. He's excited to fight against Goku. So to me, I don't even think it's confirmed, and David can go deeper into this because I know David's pretty passionate about this. I don't even think it's confirmed that Jiren's above Beerus. I definitely don't think Goku's above Beerus yet. So, David can talk
Yeah,
about the
I
Jiren stuff.
mean, here's the thing. Okay, so I mean, we know Whis says Jiren is someone who's reached the state of God of Destruction. Like he's reached that level. The thing about it is, first of all, gods of destruction aren't all created equal. Like we know that Beerus and Kitella are above most of the other, or probably all of the other gods of destruction. I mean, generally speaking, they're relative. And Whis says definitively like Jiren is in that tier, but and then people always point to, well, he said Whis also said he surpassed that state, but even Whis was kind of unsure. Like Whis is like, oh, perhaps he's even surpassed the state, and he's like, I guess Jiren must be the mortal who's
Yeah,
who a god of destruction can't defeat.
and you may say, okay, well, in the context of that quote, Wish was talking about a mortal who supposedly was stronger than the god of destruction, who'd be Beerus in an arm wrestle, and therefore, that mortal is stronger than Beerus, but it's funny when they flash back to the scene that they don't show that bit. So to me, what I get from that more accurately is that in all likelihood, that mortal is just stronger than the God of Destruction. Whether or not the God of Destruction's above Beerus, whether or not Vermouth's above Beerus remains to be seen. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
Vermouth's above Beerus. I think Beerus, I mean, there is some contention regarding Jin, but at least in the manga, Beerus is undisputed to be tied for the best god with Kitella. And in the manga, Kitella is the one who beats him in an arm wrestle anyway, so to me, it's definitely not confirmed. It's definitely a possibility, but I find it unlikely that the show would bring in a baddie stronger than Beerus without having Goku fight Beerus. It seems to demean his character. And it's Beerus. I mean, come on.
And yeah, and in the context of this tournament, like Goku is just beginning to discover like mastery of self movement. But Beerus has Beerus hasn't fully mastered self movement as we mentioned earlier, but like he's like gotten to a point where he's pretty damn like good at it. He can use it at will.
What people
Like
have
when
to
he's fighting
realize is
God
that how
Destruction.
old Beerus really is. This guy's millions of years old. You see it
I
with
mean,
how
yeah,
yeah.
in the manga, Vermouth is only stated to be like 250,000 years old, I want to say.
Yeah.
I mean, whether or not years on his planet or whatever or in his universe are different but I mean, I don't think that would be the case.
Yeah, that seems really strange that they would say that knowing that there's different years. That I don't know why Toyotar would just lie to us flat like that.
I mean, yeah, exactly. So we know Beerus is one of the, if not the oldest god of destruction, and he's just been around forever.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
this guy's a freak of nature. He really is. People have to understand how powerful Beerus
exactly.
is.
I mean, gods of destruction are just beyond powerful,
And to counter some obligatory things I've heard, I remember when Geekdom was talking about Beerus and Jiren. He's like, I think Jiren's stronger than Beerus because Beerus couldn't do the Super Saiyan God and the BOG arc what Jiren did with the finger.
Well, to be fair, he said like Jiren could be more powerful than Beerus.
Yeah, but he's evidence for that. The reason why he made that statement was because of the fact that he blocked him with the finger. But we already kind of discussed that the arc's inconsistent, and I don't think.
Yeah, we know for a fact that Super Saiyan God doesn't even touch a playing around Beerus. Like a playing around Beerus is completely beyond Super Saiyan Blue, much less Super Saiyan God.
Yeah, so I don't think that's evidence. I honestly don't see, other than there's one thing that you could use as evidence, which is where Goku's like, I wish I can fight a fighter stronger than anyone I've ever encountered before, and then Jiren shows up. But to me, it's more
exactly that could be argued as foreshadowing, like, oh, that's the strongest person. But then, I mean, I would argue that could, I mean, because that's
just a hype up Jiren. I don't see that as some end all be all statement. I think it remains to be seen. It's certainly a possibility, but Beerus's limit really is unknown. We really have no idea how strong this guy really is. We can only speculate. And now we can go into the next part of our video where we're going to be talking about Irale, Beerus. Unless you have anything more to say about, Beerus in Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah, I mean, not really. I mean, what I would say is that he's a casual universe buster. He's got some great hacks with Hakai where he can just erase you from existence. I mean, and it's not like he can only just erase weak beings. Like we've seen, like Sidra's casual ball of destruction, like gave Frieza a hard time. Like he was huffing and puffing, and it was difficult for him to,
Yeah, I think Goku had a lot of trouble.
Energy. And base Goku couldn't even, he couldn't even
deal with it. Yeah,
deal with it. Like he was just sitting there.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I would just say, like I honestly do think that if Super Saiyan Blue Goku was fighting Beerus and Beerus really felt the need to, he could just erase him. Like just.
Oh yeah, he absolutely could Hakai him. I also think he could one shot him.
Exactly, and then of course Super Saiyan Blue Goku.
And certainly, if Beerus went Ultra Instinct, Goku would be screwed. No question.
Exactly, if he unleashed that power.
Okay, so now we get into Irale, Beerus, and this is the guy who's above the guide character, and we're gonna get a bit of a glimpse to how strong he is. So
it is. I only consider it for this episode because the episode is filler, and I mean, there's just so many fourth wall breaks. So I don't take it as like a serious indicator of his power across the series. But anyways, we have Aurelie, first of all, who's just a gag character, obviously, and she just literally defies the laws of physics. Like she kicks Vegeta across the planet, and he's just flying across the planet. She like cracks the planet in half by like tapping it. And I mean, she has in the Dr. Slump manga, she also has so many ridiculous feats. Like she just like jumps on the sun. She jumps from like the earth to the sun or some shit. Like just cracks a hole in the sun.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, she's just completely a gag character. She doesn't apply the laws of physics. She can basically do whatever she wants. Like when she's fighting Super Saiyan Blue Goku, she just multiplies her power by 100 because she says so. I mean, her power is seemingly limitless. And she's just a gag character, like a straight up, you could almost argue like a reality warper in that sense. Like the laws of physics don't apply to her.
I mean, if Jiren went up against Arale, I don't know what Jiren could do, I'm being honest here. Goku's like, Kagen times 100.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like that's what Arale is, just casually multiplying her power by like 100. And then here's the first part that's just a complete gag is where they create, Bulma creates like the best food, like a synthesis of like all the best foods. And then Beerus smells it from across the universe. He fucking smells it. And in like 2 seconds,
he's there.
Beerus is like halfway across the universe with Whis, and they're there. And Whis is like, this is the fastest I've ever traveled. And then, Beerus is there. And of course, he erases a ghost. He erases a being that's already dead because, he's Beerus. He can just do that. He can just
he can destroy anything. Inside of there, the limits of his power is just unknown. All we know is
exactly, yeah. I mean, he can destroy anything.
Yeah. And then he just one-shots.
Yeah, exactly. And then, Aurelie is like, oh, look, it's a big cat. Like, I want to play with that cat. And, everyone's like, no, like, you're like reality warping, physics breaking, like, bullshit doesn't work on Beerus. Like, he's immune to it. And then, Beerus gets angry. He taps his foot on the ground, and Aurelie is just in the corner, like, slumped. And she's like, oh, no. And then, Beerus just casually, like, it's not even, he didn't even use, like, destroyer energy, or he didn't even, like, try to Hakai her. He literally just, brought forth a key ball, and he was about to destroy her. And then he was stopped because of his stomach, because he ate that food, and then he flew away. But again, in this episode, Beerus is just completely beyond, like, this reality warping, physics breaking, like nonsensical gag character, and it's like in the context of the episode, even Beerus himself is a gag character.
Yeah, but Beerus surpasses gag characters in that episode. So
exactly.
We analyzed both Beeruses just kind of to close it off regarding the first Beerus. He's a universe plus buster. I think he's probably multi-universal. I don't think he can destroy the entire timeline like Zeno did, but I do think he has a great well of strength to draw upon. I don't think he's dimensional or anything, but he's this very powerful character who's not to be messed with. He's Ultra Instinct. He's close to mastering it. He could still be above Jiren. That's definitely a possibility. And as far as Arale Beerus goes, he's just an absolute monster.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we really don't know his limits.
Yeah. And so our next video is going to be talking about how far Beerus goes in Marvel.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're probably gonna do both Beeruses for that. Mostly it's gonna be about like the Beerus we all know and love, and then some other part will be dedicated to like Aurelie episode Beerus.
and that should be fun, right? Because applying Marvel logic to or comparing comic character.
Applying comic
Yeah,
logic to
applying
people's
comic logic to characters in Dragon Ball is always fun, and it's gonna be fun to cross compare. Also, we have a very different perspective on Marvel characters than Seth has, so we're gonna be having a very
Well, I mean, it wasn't really Seth out. I mean, it was mostly Chuck in the Marvel video, which I personally had disagreements with.
yeah, yeah,
It was good arguments though. I respect it. I don't have any
yeah, yeah.
major
We'll
gripes.
discuss that at some point in the next video. We'll just talk about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is a fun one.
Yeah. All right. Signing off.
Yeah, signing off.